So I finished the handles, the whole drawers are in and everything, but I'm just reinforcing the countertop. And then I'm moving on to your office.
That every 6 months.
That was funny. Wait. We have noticed along the years that sometimes the installation specification of the appliance that comes from the manufacturer doesn't reflect actually what you have in hand when you're working with the actual appliance. We planned for something that was 18 inches high, but the actual appliance ended up being 17 inches high. So now we just have to add a small trim at the top of the microwave, which again is going to come at no cost for anybody. We'll just make sure that it's done right. Here you can say the same thing, it's consistency, right? So we're being consistent with all the details from the beginning, all the way to the completion of the project, and even further than that, a service call or something that might happen to the cabinetry later on.
There are a lot of hand notes that you take that are much easier to have like on paper until the project is done, and then we discard of it. We just keep a copy, we take a photo, and we digitally file them afterwards. In the office, like, we're gonna have a room for basically a printer. We left some counter surface to be able to have a printer exposed there. Basically, if it were a home office, maybe I'd go through the trouble of trying to hide the printer because it's not something you want to look at all the time. But in like in a commercial office, I prefer having easier access to my printer rather than having to take it out when I need it. And we do use quite a bit the printer. Whenever we print our production plans, our meeting plans, even if we display them on screens, it's still good to have like a printed copy, because sometimes I need to think with a pencil in my hand. It's old school, I know, but it happens.
Everything, all the details are being logged, and we keep track of everything that went into the completion of a certain project. And should we have to go back 6 months, a year, 2 years to fix something or address something, we just revisit all those informations that we have stored, and we know exactly. Last time we were here, remember, it was like all covered in cardboard, and there were still leftovers from the painting and the sanding, and I just opened up the drawer and I go, oh, super clean, all vacuumed, gorgeous. Let's see the other ones. Oh. Boom. No. Boom. Even though what caused that issue was just a misplacement of the drawers, because we went back and we double checked the work that we have done, we realized there was just a simple mistake of flipping the drawers, did all the adjustments, and everything was fine. So again, this is where it's very important to work with the same team. Here we had to go because it was our product. So we went back just to address an issue because it was our product. But same mentality is being applied on a brand new project. You start with designing it, and then you follow through and you make sure all the details are taken into account when you do the production plans. Then keep track of all those details into manufacturing, then have all those details in mind when you're doing the installation, and then later on service or whatever might follow for the job. Yeah, MacGyver was here. Let's see. Ooh, nice. Oh yeah. It was perfect. It was like it was intended to be from the beginning. That's how they should have worked. When we were installing the units, making those cutouts and the fences for the drawers, again, none of the plumbing was done. We were envisioning it working the way it did when we went back. Yeah, I just have to finish this side, then put all the handles. We're gonna go with black and flat black. It kind of matches.
We're gonna try to keep that as a cohesive feature. So I'm thinking that all three offices, even if they have different colors, different materials, I'm gonna keep the same type of handle, so it shows a little bit of the same of intent in design.
And then I was thinking I'm gonna put some sort of a support here. The span is a little bit too big, and when the girls designed it, they made it double thickness. But in order for me to do double thickness, I would have had to use laminate on the edge. And I don't have the laminate that's exactly this color. So now to reinforce it, I have to do some sort of a support.
You said that you plan on that you're probably gonna redesign it every 6 months.
Yeah, already started the timer. 6 months, boom. No, but that's what we do usually. We start using it, and then we realize, it would be good to have like a bank of drawers here, or I would bring like some shelving here. Because we don't know, we haven't used the space, right? And even in Montreal, I don't know, those offices went through like major changes like very often. You start using it, and then a designer comes up with an idea, and then you want to like say, I would really like to do this. Get the center of the door, and I'm putting them all at 3 inches. And I'm gonna do the same thing on all of them. And then the handle for the door is gonna be 3 inches down, 3 inches in. So I don't have to measure. Because what I would have to do now is measure to the tape on the drawer, measure the height that I want to put it at. Right, so go. I want to do exactly in the middle. This is 6 inches, put it at 3 inches, and then this is the width. It's 13 7/8. So it's gonna be 6 15/16, and I go like this, and I have the mark. And then I would have to take the drill and mark here. But with the jig, you just take the width of the drawer and you mark it. I just put the jig, it has a little check here. I put it on the mark, and then I do the same. I just measure the center on all the drawers, then I just go with the jig. And another thing that's super cool with this jig, I've never had this before, so that you don't have to use the jig with the drill. You see, this is made out of aluminum, but then it has a piece of steel here, a ring. So why that's there is that's how you can turn the drill bit in it, and you're not cutting through it. If it would be aluminum, you would cut through it. They did this, which goes exactly in this hole, and it's a punch, this one. And I just press. There you go. So what it did, it actually marked the front, and now I can go, because I have a brad point drill bit, so I don't have to operate holding these two, and at the same time there's no friction in between the drill bit and the jig. It's really smart.